Hey guys, welcome to a long-awaited video. I not only got my first bookshelves, but I got my dream bookshelves. So let's get into it. I have made my matcha, so we are ready to tackle these bookshelves. I got the Theo bookshelf from Nathan James, and I also got the 6-shelf one. I really wanted tall bookshelves. It says a 40-minute assembly. We have 2 of these, but even that, for one, like it's always gonna take longer the first time around. So let's see how long this takes. I have quite the list of watch later on YouTube, so let's just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I got you. Thank you. That was a slow kiss. I have to build a second bookshelf, and I'm really sorry because you're gonna hate all the noise. First bookshelf is built, so let's go ahead and knock out this second. Building bookshelves is not for the weak. Actually, building them wasn't that bad. Mounting them to the wall, quite difficult, but that was so satisfying. I felt so good afterwards. The shelves look so good. I'm obsessed with how they look. It has been a very busy couple of days, so I haven't been able to put my books up on here yet, and I've been dying to do so, but we need to do a massive unhaul first, because a goal I have is to fit all of the books that I've already read on these 2 shelves. I think we can do it with a strict unhaul because I don't have a ton of books. And the fact that I'm separating like my physical TBR, I think will work out in my favor. I ended up putting a ton of books in bins when I was decorating for Christmas because the corner that housed all of my stacks, that's where my Christmas tree went. So we have 4 bins to go through and then a small little stack over there as well. So let's go through them and see how many books I can unhaul. So there are definitely a lot of books behind me that I need to go through, but when I was unpacking them, I realized quite a bit of these are actually on my physical TBR still. I think when I was packing everything up, I was including books that I knew I didn't want to read immediately. So I think the first thing I want to do is actually separate my physical TBR with the books that I read, and then we'll go through each of them separately to do a little unhaul. There are so many books that I am going to be unhauling. Milo is sick of me. He is sick of me. He just wants a nap and I just keep moving around and moving books around. He's over it. We are going to go through all the books that I am unhauling, and then a new day we will tackle all the books that need to go on the bookshelf. I tried to organize them in some way that made sense, but frankly, it really doesn't matter, so let's go through this with quickness. The first one is A Whale of the Wild. This is like a middle grade book that I just got because it had orcas, and I love orcas with a burning passion, but I don't need to keep it on my shelf. I'm not going to reread it. This is a like poetry kind of book. I was gifted this, and as much as I love the idea of it, I haven't read it. I've had it for a couple years, and I don't think I'm going to get to it. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I have all of the audiobooks. I think if I want to dive into this, I will just listen to it on audio. This stack is all romance. As we know, I'm not a huge romance reader. These are all the books that I have read, I believe. Maybe there's one or two that I haven't that I'm getting rid of, but the majority of these I've read and I just don't need to keep them on my shelves. Starting off with The Unhoneymooners. I had a good time with this. I think I gave it like 4 stars, but I don't need to keep it. Next up is A Novel Love Story. This is a book that by the end, I really liked it, but for majority of the time, I was like, what am I even reading? I just don't need to keep it. I'm not going to reread it. Then we have Alex Approximately. This is like a YA romance, cutie, fun summer book, but not my thing anymore. Then we have the first book in the Indigo Ridge series. I read this, I enjoyed it, but I have yet to pick up the second, third, fourth, fifth book. I don't think I'm going to. And then we have Better Than the Movies. This was A Time to Be Alive. I ate this book up. I really enjoyed it. However, I'm not going to reread it, and I've yet to read another Lynn Painter book. Maybe I read The Do-Over, but I think I already unhauled that one. Then we have Love Redesigned. I actually haven't read this one, but I've had it on my shelf for a couple years now, and I've yet to reach for it, so there's no point in keeping it. Then we have Dear Erin by Mariana Zapata. I have other books from her that I'm going to keep. I enjoyed this, but not as much as the other ones, and I just don't feel the need to keep it on my shelves. And then we have Hooked. I actually really enjoyed this one. I just don't think I'm going to continue on with the series, so there's no point in keeping this one. Then we have Red, White, and Royal Blue. Again, I liked it. I had a good time. I'm just not going to reread it and don't feel the need to keep it on my shelves. Next up is Always in December. I read this. I loved it. Look up what you need to look up about it for any potential trigger warnings, but like, it was so good. I don't reread Christmas books especially, so we're getting rid of this one, but wow, that brings back memories. Next up is The Fine Print. I had a great time with this, but I never continued on with the trilogy, I think, so I'm just going to go ahead and unhaul this. Then we have The Ex-Hex. It's another thing where it's like themed. I don't think I'm going to ever reread it, so I'd rather give this to someone else that really wants to read it. This is another book that I have yet to read, but it's been on my shelf for a couple years now. I bought it thinking I'm going to read this, I'm going to eat it up, but I never reach for it, so I'm just going to go ahead and unhaul it. And then we have Right My Wrongs. I just don't read a ton of romance. I just don't think I'm going to get to it, so I'd rather give someone else the opportunity. And then we have In the Weeds. I ate this book up. I had such a good time with it. I've yet to read any other book in the like interconnected standalone series. I don't think I'm going to. Might as well get rid of it. Then we have 2 Sarah Adams books, The Cheat Sheet and The Rule Book. I ate both of these up. I enjoyed them both. However, I don't feel the need to keep them on my shelf. And then we have One Star Romance. I think I had a mediocre time with it. If that says anything, I'm never going to reread it. Cutie little book, but might as well get rid of it. Then I have Back After This. I really enjoyed this one. I'm just never going to reread it, but I do highly recommend it. And then we have Never by Jessa Hastings. I've yet to read it. I don't think I'm going to. I read for the first time the original Peter Pan, the one that she took from to create this. So that way I've had like the good mindset going into it, but then I never picked it up, and I don't think I'm going to, and if I want to later on, I have the library. Our final book in kind of the romance only genre is The Bodyguard. I've yet to read another Catherine Center book. I really enjoyed this one. I also just don't really love a hardcover, so maybe if it was paperback, I could keep it, but I don't want to, so I'd rather give this to someone else. We'll tackle this next because it's kind of like mysteries. We have Stephen King's Finders Keepers. This is actually the book that I'm on. I think it is a trilogy. I read Mr. Mercedes that I am also going to go ahead and get rid of because what is this? How's this supposed to go on my shelf? I'm not a fan of that. I do want to continue on with it. I think I'll either check them out from my library or just like buy normal paperbacks. And then I have Misery. I was actually gifted this, but I've yet to reach for it, and I think if I end up wanting to read it, I would get it in the same kind of paperback as the other 2, so we're just going to go ahead and unhaul this. Then we have The Maidens. I enjoyed this less than The Silent Patient, which is kind of in the same universe, but it's the second book I read by this author, and I was like, I don't really love this. I love The Silent Patient, so that is definitely going on my shelf, but we're going to go ahead and unhaul this one. I was recently gifted this one. It is The Dysfunctional Family's Guide to Murder. It sounds like it would be a silly, goofy, fun time. I just have to be in the right mood for that, and that's very rare. So I think I'd love to give this to like my library or just like someone else that would read this sooner than I would. And then we have Enola Holmes and the Black Barouge. I really love this series. Like, I have all the little paperbacks of the original, maybe like 6 books. They're very small, and then we've had 2 more releases. I read this one, I enjoyed it. I haven't read the others, but I think I got rid of the others. I don't feel the need to keep this one. I also love the Netflix movies. Then we have 14 Ways to Die. This is a YA mystery thriller. 1 killer, 13 victims, 1 million views. I think I had a really good time with it, but I just don't feel the need to keep it on my shelf. And then we had the Christmas Murder Game. I enjoyed the ending. That was it. I'm never gonna reread it. Then we have the exclusive new chapter edition of Verity. This was like very early on into my reading career, and I ate this book up. Sue me, I ate it up. I had the best time. I don't have other thrillers at that point like to compare it, but even at this point, I think I would still eat it up. I'm sorry. It is the only book I've read by this author. I don't think I'm gonna read other work. I'm not gonna reread this. I just don't feel the need to keep it. Last up for this section is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I actually really enjoy her work and I love her stories. I feel like at least I have a good time no matter what. I'm not gonna reread it. I don't love it. Don't love a hardcover. We're getting rid of it. Next up is Legends and Lattes. I haven't read this one, but if I do, I think I'm just gonna get it from the library. I've had it for a couple years now. I've yet to reach for it. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of it. I love the idea of having these. However, I've had these for years. I've never read them. It is like this cute little set of like Harry Potter-esque books. We have the Tales of Beetle the Bard, Quidditch Through the Ages, Fantastic Beasts, Where to Find Them. Love that movie. I'm not gonna read these, so we're just gonna go ahead and unhaul them. And then we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I had a fine time with this. I've yet to continue on with the trilogy. If I do, I think I'll check it out from the library, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. Then we have One Italian Summer. Oh my god, Rebecca Surly. I just read The Dinner List by her and ate it up. She always has like a magical realism in her books. I liked this one. I love The Dinner List, but I'm not gonna reread it. I hardly recommend it even, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of The Brothers Hawthorne and The Grandest Game. All of the other books I have, which is just the Inheritance trilogy, I have in paperback. I really liked that. These were fine to me. I don't see a point in keeping them because if I continue on with this world, I'll probably just check it out from my library. Oh, there it is. This is Enola Holmes and the Mark of the Mongoose. I don't remember if I read this or not, but this was the latest release and I've yet to read it and I've had it for a couple years, so we're gonna go ahead and unhaul it. If I read it, I'll check it out from the library. This one kind of hurts. So I decided to unhaul Ruthless Vows because I am never going to read it. Listen, it scares me. It's daunting. If the day comes, I have a library. So with that, I don't see a point in keeping Divine Rivals. I'm so sorry. It kind of feels terrible, but it also just doesn't feel like it makes sense to keep this knowing I'm never going to read this. And like, I had a really good time with this, but yeah. The last section is all like fantasy romance. So we have Serpent and Dove. I have this one. I read the other 2 from my library. To me, it just got worse and worse. This is like a mediocre trilogy to me. Never gonna reread it, so we're getting rid of book 1. Then we have We Hunt the Flame. I enjoyed this, not a ton. The second book in the duology, I think I read from the library, so once again, I'm not gonna reread it. It's not like I loved it. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of book 1. Daughter of the Pirate King. This is another thing where like I actually really enjoyed this one. I was gonna say it's exactly like We Hunt the Flame. No, I really enjoyed this. I think I read the second book from the library. I'm not gonna reread it. I don't intend to buy that second book, so we're just gonna go ahead and unhaul the first. This is a book that's been on my shelf for like 3 years and I've yet to reach for it. I don't think I'm going to. I reread the back and it says, when her 17th summer solstice arrives. Y'all, I'm not a YA girl. I'm not an emphasis on the young YA girl. I'm an emphasis on the adult. I need them to be at least 20. Like, I can't be dealing with high schoolers. So I think we're gonna just unhaul it. This one kind of hurts, but at the same time, I haven't read the rest of them, so we're fine. I read The Hunger Games a while ago for like a read and watch series, but I've yet to continue on with the books. Or maybe I did. I can't even remember. But I don't need these. I don't, so we're getting rid of them. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of A Dawn of Onyx and A Promise of Perdo. This is the second and first book of The Sacred Stones. I don't have the third. I think I read the third from the library. To me, I loved book 1, and then books 2 and 3 were just kind of mediocre for me, so I don't see a point in keeping them because I don't want to buy the third book, and I'm not going to reread the first 2. The last book I'm unhauling is not what you think. It's not what you think. Don't yell at me. It is An Ember in the Ashes. If you were watching the speed through of everything else, I bought a full set because I bought this individually, and then I went to buy the other 3, and it was cheaper to buy them as the set because of whatever sale was going on. So I was like, we don't need 2 of book 1. I mean, maybe we do. I love this series so much, so much. It like feels weird to be like, I'm unhauling this, but it's like not what it looks like. Those are all the books that I'm going to be unhauling, so let me count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 55 books. We are unhauling over 50 books. I feel so good about that because I've been doing little unhauls here and there, so this is huge. A lot of them I've read, some I haven't. I'm glad that I was able to just make the easy call of like, you don't love this book, get rid of it, because some of these I enjoyed, but I just know someone might enjoy them more, and I'd love to be able to like just give them away to maybe some friends, of course. I'll see if they want some of these, but just like little free libraries or my actual library, whatever it is, people can get them at a much cheaper cost. I feel so good. I will see you whenever we decide, whenever I have the energy to go through the books going on that bookshelf. I am finally ready to put the books on these shelves. I have done a little bit of organizing as far as just putting them in different piles for at least the different genres, but I am so scared to figure out how they're supposed to go on the shelves. I feel like it's going to take a lot of trial and error. You're going to go through this with me. Let's start the time lapse. Wait, you guys, I am so proud of myself because these are all of the books that I own that I've already read. We have a lot of space. I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and move some of my physical TBR. We'll like start with the priorities. I just have no concept of books and like the amount of space they take up, so I don't know if they could all fit here or what, but we're gonna work up there with that. And then I'm thinking my TBR can be those bottom 2 rows. Besties, we did it. I am so proud of these shelves. I'm also really impressed and proud of myself that I had 2 full rows empty, blank. I could do whatever I wanted with because I really thought just the books I owned that I'd already read were gonna be too much for this. I thought I was gonna fill these up and then have more that I wouldn't know what to do with, but instead we had 2 empty rows that I was able to put my entire physical TBR on. I guess there's a little caveat because the books that didn't fit on there are essentially my monthly TBR and 2 more books, which if I really wanted those 2 more books to put on here, they would fit because I could just like turn a couple of these that I have faced forward, but there's really no point in them. So it's so cool also seeing the area that held my physical TBR practically empty. I just love these shelves so much. I feel like we need to give credit where credit is due, and that is to the Libby app in my local library, because without them, we wouldn't be here. Because I have utilized them so much. And yes, I've read like mediocre books, like thank God I didn't spend my money on that. But I've also read so many 4 stars, 4.5, 5 stars, and I haven't felt the need to buy them. And yes, I would like to own some of those someday, but there's not that pressure that I just like bought them immediately. We are able to fill out these shelves and not have excess, and that just makes me feel so happy. So let's do my first bookshelf tour. This kind of feels silly, but I feel like we need to do this for just the top rows. So we have my Emily Henry collection. I feel like this is what I want to work on, make better, but it's what we have for now, and we're gonna roll with it. So yes, I do have 2 copies of Happy Place, arguably a third. I do have 2 copies of Beach Read, probably will buy a third. And then I have my book lovers and 2 people we meet on vacation. I think I meant to get rid of one of those. For now, it's up here. And then I have my junk journal from last year up here because I would love to display this somewhere. Right here is fine for now. And then we have my Harry Potter collection and then all of the classics that I own. So this is actually a part of like my physical TBR. I have not read these, but I want to. This feels so like close and personal. So overall, I organized these shelves by genre and then alphabetically because I wanted it to feel like a bookstore or a library. Like, should I get little plaques to say like what the genre is? I feel like that could be so fun. Nonetheless, I tried to organize them / put them together by like adult versus YA. We'll see. It's more like a feeling for me more than anything. These are all kind of like the adult ones, and then we get into the clear YA. I also need to figure out what I'm going to do as I continue the series for some of these, because some of these are just like book one or just kind of like what's out now, and there's going to be more, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's how I've organized them. I think at this point we're like speeding through this. I'm not going to go through every single book on here. I think I would love to do that because I'm nosy and so I want to see that from people, but let me know if you want to see like an in-depth bookshelf tour where we'll go through all the books that I own and then my entire physical TBR as well. So we have all of that to bring you over. You guys, I think I want to do a reread of Throne of Glass soon. March? Like, do I start it in March? I've been itching to do it. Ugh, I don't know. But we have all of my Sarah J Maas here. It fits for now. This was my favorite in this series here. And then A Court of Wings and Ruin was my favorite in ACOTAR. I don't really have a need to reread ACOTAR right now, but Throne of Glass was just such like an in-depth story. Itching for a reread. This shelf is so much YA. It's so much YA. This is kind of ending off all of the adult, because to me, Fourth Wing is more adult-esque. Just like to me that the Ember and the Ashes is more adult than YA. Put it in the YA section. Why? Because do you know what happens in that series? A wild series of events. To me, it's more adult. But we have that, and then we have my standalones throughout here, other YAs, and then that's the same with, hi guys. That's the same with the rest of this. So we finish it off here, and then I have my Red Rising trilogy because that's kind of the only science fiction I own. And then we have one of my like horror, I guess. I'm not really sure what How to Sell a Haunted House is. It's not really, is it horror? I don't know. But then I have Stephen King and The Silent Patient as my only, wow. I must have gotten rid of a ton of my mysteries that I got like my early days of reading. But I was obsessed with The Silent Patient, so it felt like I needed to keep it. Oh, it was so good. You know what I should do? I should make like that top one maybe like a shrine to my favorites, because it kind of feels wrong that I have nothing of the favorites displayed anywhere. I have 3 copies. Should be a 4th. I should get the paperback in the UK edition. It will happen. But like, maybe that's what we should do. Help me decide what I should do with that top, like, right now, Emily Henry shrine. My single nonfiction, this will grow. I think I have some of these on, like, my physical TBR. It is what it is. And then we move into just fiction. I have so many. I am so proud of that, and I feel like this section is just growing because, yes, there's so much within, like, the subgenre of fiction, but I've been loving a good story that isn't fantasy, that isn't, I don't know. Fiction's just becoming, like, a new favorite genre for me. We have all of that, and then we move in to romance. I should say, I think you can kind of see it, but I had extra room here, so I just put in my Heartstopper and then my special edition of Save Me, which is the trilogy for Maxton Hall. I have book 1 as a special edition. It's really pretty, and I just threw it there because there was like space. Okay, but moving into like actual romance. This is beautiful, and they all fit here. So this is like the entirety of my romance collection that I didn't decide to unhaul, which is just like crazy. Oh my god, I don't know, I've read so many like 5 stars that I don't own that I might one day, but like, oh, this is like, wow. And I am missing my Magnolia Parks because one of my friends has it. Need to get that back, but I will have to, I guess, figure out that when we get there. But I love them, they're so beautiful. And then let's move on to my physical TBR, just kind of a quick glance. So while these are in alphabetical order, I kept thinking I was gonna run out of room, so I'd like bring over stacks and then I just would like keep going. So my point is, we have a majority of these that are kind of in sections as far as like genres within these, but at some point I hit a spot that it just became alphabetical. And then I hit a second spot where I started over the alphabet because I didn't want to keep moving things around. So maybe one day I will like go through and make it all one long alphabet. Right now we have 2 alphabets and a mix of genres essentially. So we have all of these, a lot of fantasy on this one, and then a lot of fantasy. I do have The Lost Hero. I don't remember what this like series is called, but it's the one following Percy Jackson. Why did I think I owned the Percy Jackson series? No one told me. So I actually bought Percy Jackson, like the first book, the Lightning Thief. I bought that because I would like to read that series, and then I would like to read these. I have owned these for years. It's embarrassing. And then I don't think you can really see this final one, but this is the remainder that kept coming. Oh, this is where we started. Here, or here? Yeah, this starts with A again. Because these were all the remaining ones over where my physical TBR used to be, that I was like, oh, no, I think you guys would fit too, so let's go ahead and bring you over. But I'm not dealing with reorganizing the rest of these, so we just put them in alphabetical order down here. They all fit, and I'm so satisfied looking at these shelves. I own bookshelves. I never thought this day would come, if I'm honest. I have absolutely loved putting these shelves together, organizing them. I just love having bookshelves. I feel complete as a reader, as an avid reader. I was just sick of disrespecting my books, so I'm so glad I have them. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you would like a more in-depth bookshelf tour, and I will see you in my next one.